My name is Martin James Akosa from the NPP. I'm just following up on some answer given by the EC rep. It's got to do with the solution that the commission is putting forth. For example, with areas that have been oversubscribed. And the solution by the commission is that they will be creating additional polling booths on the day of voting. I'm afraid this cannot be the most sustainable and reliable solution, because that was used for this registration, and it seems, in my view, to have failed. The commission, as a policy, decided that where you have densely populated areas, they will create what we call the split system, where additional registration kits were provided. Midway the exercise, the commission had to withdraw all those kits because of the very nature or the frequent breakdown of the equipment. So you still came back to this whole confusion and congestion where many people could not register. I'm afraid, or I'm wondering how that solution is still going to be used for election day, and we can hope to count on just the mere creation of additional polling booths will solve that problem. I'll quickly link that also to the same problem that we have. You have too many places where across the country, as a political party, you had 30 to 40 complaints coming to you across the country on breakdown in equipment. The 10 days allocated to areas, you have some places where just 2, 3, 4, 5 days were used to register. And the commission itself has that data in the exports profile that is coming to the center from the district. We want to know the commission's decision on extending the exercise and how it's going to be done. Because in an area where the full 10 days was utilized, cannot have the same extension period like where 2, 3, or 4 days was utilized. So the commission should just come clear on that one.
The number of party agents that's supposed to be at a polling unit representing a party, and also tagging. I don't want to know whether you see have a plan for them, because you don't know who is who. They claim to be representing a party, but there is nothing showing they are the party agent. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Yasser Furi from Youth Bridge Foundation. This question goes to EC. On the final day, that is the third phase, and on the 10th day, I want to find out what contingencies the EC has put in place to, let's say, absorb all voters who may be in the queue before 6 o'clock. Because some of the voting, or let's say the polling stations, by 5:30, they would have closed. The normal time is 6. But their argument is that they would have to send the record to the district, and it takes a long time. I mean, they would have to be there. Some of them close around 7. So on that day, if you still have some people in the queue who have not been captured, and it is 5:30 or 6 o'clock, what's going to happen? Any contingency measures to capture all those? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm Usupa, Reacting Director of Public Affairs of the Electoral Commission. First, I would like to take the issue of extension of registration. We have said right from the onset that it is difficult for us to say that we're going to extend a registration exercise when we have just started, and that we will continue to monitor developments at the registration centers, so that if at the end of the registration it becomes clear that there are still people who have not been able to register, then the Commission will consider extension of the registration exercise. And that will be dependent on reports that we will receive from our field operatives, especially the district officers and the regional directors of the Commission. So we are still monitoring the situation, and where it becomes necessary for us to extend the registration, we will do so. Indeed, we do not intend to disenfranchise anybody because they could not take advantage of the exercise when it was at their registration center. And then the next issue that I would like to handle is the one that was raised by Madam Afari, who should register where. In fact, if anybody has listened closely to our adverts, we said, register where you live. And that is what we have been stressing all this time. But when you go to the legislation, that is regulation CI 72, there you find ordinarily resident. And it looks like the interpretation of ordinarily resident is becoming a problem. And so subsequently, the commission came out that you register where you live or where you hail from. Where you live or where you hail from. In the case of Ododo-Diodio, this is what I've always been saying, that you go to Ododo-Diodio and there are people who have spent all their life in that area, even though they don't have any permanent abode. They cannot point to a house there and say, this is my residence. Some of them have lived in ramshackle structures, some in kiosks, some anywhere that is convenient for them to sleep. And for them, that is the place they live. So for such people, we say they can register because technically that is where they live. If you ask the person for a house number, it will be difficult for him to say house number C so and so. And because he is not able to give you a house number, you think that the person should not register. I don't think that the objective of this ordinary resident is to disenfranchise people. We're saying that as much as possible, every eligible Ghanaian must have the opportunity to register. So if he says that is the place he lives and he knows no other place than that place, and he gives it as his residence, I do not see why the person should be turned away. And in order that there is no confusion, we said if you have any problem with the person registering, pick a challenge form and file a challenge so that at the appropriate time the issue is determined. I do not see how this should result in confrontation, unless of course we don't want to be law-abiding. And if we all be law-abiding, these confrontations should not arise at all. I'll hand over to Mr.
Well, it still comes to challenging. At the end of the day, you have to challenge and then it will be determined. That is all. When it comes to equipment, I'll talk before he does, because he's already put a lot of blame on us. Because we've met both the police, we've met the political parties. This issue of Ododo-Diodio is not only this year. It has been happening, and when we meet, everybody seems to be comfortable with what comes out as a regulation. So now, when an issue is being resolved, we don't really put it on one institution. I think the police knew about this. We met the IGP. We spelled out all the problems, and he promised what he was going to do. If that place is a highly charged area, you need just to put the security men there, because there are people who go there to ferment problem. They know the law, then all that has been said, they understand, but just to ferment problems. So it is a security agent that have to make sure that our officials do their work. Now, when they come to my friend Osei, you have been coming to my office, I've been explaining a lot of things. We've said time and over that registration, we don't have figures. It's not like election. So once we are able, we capture a number of voters in a particular place, and we have determined that in an urban center, we should not have more than a certain number of voters. We split the registration center into A and B. So I don't see a problem saying we will not do that when it comes to voting. This we have to deal with equipment being moved, because we also have our plan. We initially decided to put 2 equipment in highly populated area. Everybody knows in the first phase we over-registered. So it means the population will be going down. Therefore, we need to move equipment from the highly populated area, one of the equipment, to another place to help contain the situation. So this has always been our plan, and we've been following it. When it comes to the equipment problem, I think in the first phase and the second phase we were overwhelmed, but currently everything seems to be under control. We had 7,000 equipment. We never went below our target of having more than 5% breakdown. In fact, the breakdown has been around 3.5%, and we have a replacement schedule. The problem is that the replacement sometimes take time. The procedure for replacement is our own arrangement, that every equipment has to be brought down to where we call the maintenance center so that data that has already been captured is recovered. Because we don't want cases where technicians will hand the equipment on the field and data will be lost. So it is our arrangement, and I think it's worked satisfactorily, and we hope it will not come in this the last phase. We have also procured, through the maintenance agreement that we have with the manufacturers, more of the painters have come in as part of the 1-year warranty that we have. And so we don't expect the breakdown, the rate of breakdown. If it does, we have to replace the equipment. Thank you very much.
Can we get a clarification on the party agents, how many are required to be at the police station? I think that's the next question.
Well, from my colleague, I think it's two per party, and they have to be accredited from our district offices. You can check, they all should. If they don't have a badge, at least they should have a letter of accreditation from our district office.
And they should have the badge, really.
Well, yes, we try to get badges, but
this badge is for observers.
Yes.
Is it the same type?
No, they have party agents, and then we have monitors.
This is just for observers.
Yes. Well, the gentleman on my right is trying to push a question. On the last day is the last day. And I believe on the last day, if we still have people in the queue, we'll manage to serve them.
Before I say closing remarks, short one, I just want to seek clarification on this on behalf of maybe everybody. That those areas that are oversubscribed, we are saying that we might split them. No problem. Now, if in spite of wishing to split them, those who have come, who should not have come there, if they apply for transfer of votes, would that be done for them?
Well, I believe Chairperson is answering the question already. In fact, we've placed polling stations in such a way that if you wade into a polling station in your electoral area, you still will be a walking distance from your home. This is the reason why we are saying that once you register in any of the 4 police stations we call a cluster, one, you will not be disenfranchised because you can vote for the same assembly person, vote for the same unit committee person, and the same parliamentarian. So whichever police station you find yourself, once you are admitted, that is the thing, to be registered there, on voting day, you have to make your way there because after all, you work there to register. Then, I think transfer is a legal requirement and it is for voting. So we want to wait on the voting day. We have the right to refuse transfer when we find out that the transfer is going to affect the election in a bad way. We have regulations and procedures who should move to work. Remember, in the district assembly election, we did not allow people to transfer within electoral areas. These things will be applied to the letter. Thank you.
Just to go and inflate the votes of a particular MP to win that seat. We want the transfer to be genuine and fair. So I don't think we expect the EC to do the wrong thing to enable one party or the other to gain an advantage through the transfers. I think we should all try to be law-abiding. If you registered at a particular polling station, you were able to get there within your area. Nothing stops you from going to that same polling station on election day to go and vote. You chose it, and you chose it because you did not want to wait for your turn. So if you have to wait for long periods in the queue to vote, that was your choice. Thank you.
So we have told you what the regulations say we should see. And we have told you this is what we have seen. Some we have seen do not agree with what we are expecting. So many we have seen agree with what we are expecting. That is what we have done. I want to thank the board sincerely, particularly the chair, the co-chair, Professor Miranda Greenstreet, for having time to come and address all of us. I also want to thank the development partners. It is they who are supporting us to bring this knowledge to you. We want to thank them that they should continue to help us. We will not waste their sponsorship. We will use it very well to the betterment of all of us. And only encourage all of us that we should go on doing the right thing. The political parties, it is yours all the time. It's not because you're a political party that you talk a lot. No, if you have the issues, say them. Say them. You talk a lot and you didn't speak just empty air. You told us things. So there's no problem at all. My good friend. Thank you very much. So as you go out, be sure to pick a copy of the report. And then there's some refreshments. You may want to refresh yourself before you get back. Again, thank you very much.
Everybody should register where he or she lives, so that if an applicant for registration says, I live in Odododudu, and he cannot give any particular house number as the place where he resides. We are aware that there are people in Odododudu who have lived there all their life since they came to Accra. And you find some of them living in kiosks, some of them living in some makeshift structures. And they say that is where they live. For such people, the only place they know as their residence is those kiosks and structures in which they live. And so they qualify to be registered as voters in the area. Otherwise, we are saying that everybody should register where he or she lives or where he hails from. And where you hail from means that probably your hometown, for instance, I am a native of Ekwapim. I can at any time go to my hometown in Ekwapim and register because that is where I hail from. If I want to register in Accra, then I have to register where I live. And we are saying that if people go to the registration center, especially in the case of Odododudu and some other places in the country, and he doubts whether truly the person lives in the place and does not qualify to register, the way out is just to pick a challenge form and file a challenge against the person's registration. And then the matter is left to the District Registration Review Committee for a determination, so that these issues of ordinary residents should not degenerate into violence at all. The process is there. People must follow the processes, file challenges, and then the review committee will determine.
To continue to encourage all of us to register and vote, we are encouraging the Electoral Commission to try as much as possible to continue to educate not just the Ghanaian public as they have been doing, but also their EC officials, because some of them are inexperienced and some of them are unable to deal with the technical flaws which arise. But they have tried, and we expect them to continue trying. And we hope that if the process continues as it has done, in spite of the few problems that have been highlighted by the press, we will have many Ghanaians registering for the 2012 election. So we are appealing rather to the media not to blow the few problems out of proportion.
Police officers there to provide direct protection for the exercise. At other places, we design a special strategy, which we refer to as the zonal patrol, which was also intensified to ensure that at a particular zone, consisting of various registration centers, we had patrol teams patrolling it, and then at regular intervals popping up at the various centers within the zone to ensure that nothing untoward is going on. That is what we have done to strengthen it. So you realize that right from the second phase, apart from a few skirmishes that we still recorded, you see that the general security was much more improved. The same security measures, but after each phase, we review it and see the shortcomings in order to plug the loopholes and then improve upon the security. So you see that after the initial hulabaloo that we recorded, everything has been quiet. It means that we have strengthened our security strategy, and so everything is moving on smoothly. You go to some of the registration centers, you see policemen there. You see police equipment also available. For instance, this armored car squadron, vehicles and equipment and personnel at various places, just to give assurance to the general public that we are in control.